Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not your coworkers. Not your Instagram followers. The actual people in your life. The ones you hang out with on weekends. The ones you grab dinner with. The ones you call when something happens. Got them in your head? Now think about their relationship with money. Do they talk about saving? Do they invest? Do they stress about bills every month? Do they upgrade their car every 2 years? Do they spend freely without thinking twice? Because here is something that nobody is going to tell you at work. Nobody is going to tell you at school, and honestly most people are too uncomfortable to say it out loud. Your financial future is being quietly shaped right now by those 5 people. Not by your salary. Not by the economy. Not by interest rates. Not by any of the things the news talks about. By the people sitting across the table from you at dinner. And by the end of this video you are going to see your relationships in a completely different way. Not because the people in your life are bad people, but because you are going to understand something about human psychology that most people never figure out until it is too late. There is a famous idea that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Most people hear that and think it is about motivation, about ambition, about work ethic. But studies in behavioral economics have consistently found that your spending habits, savings rate, and financial decisions trend toward the average of your closest social group over time. Not instantly. Slowly. Quietly. Over months and years. If your 5 closest friends earn around $50,000 a year and spend almost everything they make, there is enormous invisible pressure pulling you toward that same financial position. Even if you earn $80,000. Even if you started with better habits. Even if you genuinely want something different for your life. The pressure is that strong. And it works in both directions. If your 5 closest friends are serious about money, invest regularly, and talk openly about building wealth, that same invisible pressure pulls you upward. Your savings rate goes up. Your financial conversations change. Your decisions change. Same brain. Same intelligence. Completely different outcomes. Just because of who is in the room. Here is the uncomfortable part. This does not happen because your friends are trying to influence you. It happens because of something called social norming. And your brain does it automatically without asking your permission. Your brain is constantly scanning the people around you and asking one question. What is normal here? Whatever the answer is, your brain quietly adjusts your behavior to match. Not because you are weak. Because this is how human beings survived for thousands of years. Fitting in with the group was a matter of life and death. Your brain still treats it that way. So when everyone in your social circle spends freely on a Friday night, your brain says this is what people do. This is normal. This is what I should do. When everyone in your social circle drives a certain type of car, lives in a certain type of neighborhood, goes on a certain type of vacation, your brain registers all of that as the baseline. And anything below that baseline starts to feel like falling behind. Even when you cannot actually afford it. Even when it is quietly destroying your financial future. You do not feel like you are being influenced. You just feel like you are living your life. That is exactly what makes this so powerful and so dangerous at the same time. Let me show you what this actually costs in real money over a real lifetime. Imagine 2 people. Same age. Same starting salary of $55,000 a year. Same intelligence. Same city. Person A spends time with people who eat out 4 or 5 times a week, upgrade their phone every year, lease new cars, and take 2 or 3 vacations a year. Not because they are rich. Just because that is what everyone does in that group. Person A matches the group. Spends around $800 to $1,000 a month on things that have nothing to do with actual needs. Saves almost nothing. Person B spends time with people who cook at home most nights, drive their cars for 8 to 10 years, take 1 vacation a year, and talk about index funds over coffee. Person B saves $300 to $400 a month consistently. Invested in a basic index fund. Same salary. Same city. Same everything except the social circle. In 10 years, Person B has somewhere between $60,000 and $80,000 invested, growing with compound interest. Person A has memories of good dinners and a collection of phones that are now worthless. In 30 years, that gap becomes life-defining. Person B is potentially looking at financial independence. Person A is still wondering why saving feels impossible. The social circle did that. Not intelligence. Not luck. Not salary. There are 3 specific ways your social circle is affecting your finances right now. And most people never identify any of them. The first one is direct spending pressure. This is the most obvious one, but it is still worth naming. When your group goes out to an expensive restaurant, you go. When your group plans a trip, you feel the pressure to join. When your group upgrades something, you feel the pull to keep up. None of this requires anyone to say anything directly. The pressure is just there. Silent. Constant. And every single time you spend money to maintain your position in the group, you are choosing the social circle over your financial future. Usually without even realizing that is the choice you are making. The second one is the conversations you never have. Think about the last time someone in your social circle talked seriously about investing. About their savings rate. About how much they have in retirement accounts. About financial goals. If that conversation has never happened, that silence is costing you. Because the people who are quietly building wealth are having those conversations. They are learning from each other. They are sharing strategies. They are keeping each other accountable. If those conversations are not happening in your circle, you are missing an entire category of growth that money alone cannot buy. The third one is the ceiling on your ambition. This one is the most subtle and the most powerful. When nobody around you is building serious wealth stops feeling like something real people actually do. It becomes something that happens to other people. Lucky people. Special people. Not you. And that belief, that quiet assumption that wealth is for someone else, shapes every financial decision you make without you ever knowing it is happening. Your social circle sets the ceiling on what you believe is possible for yourself. And you almost never build above that ceiling. Now I want to be very clear about something before I give you the practical steps. This is not about cutting off your friends. This is not about being cold or calculated with relationships. The people in your life matter for reasons that have nothing to do with money. But you can be intentional about adding new influences without removing old ones. The first move is to find one person who is ahead of you financially and spend more time with them. Not to use them. Not to ask them for money. Just to be around someone whose normal is different from your current normal. Someone whose conversations include money differently. Someone whose decisions you can observe and learn from. One person like this can shift your entire frame of reference over time. It has nothing to do with what they tell you directly. It has everything to do with what your brain registers as normal when you are around them. The second move is to change what you consume alone. You cannot always change who is physically around you. But you can absolutely change who is in your ear when you are driving, working out, or doing anything alone. Podcasts. YouTube channels. Books. The voices you choose to fill your private time with become part of your social environment in a very real psychological sense. If the voices you consume are talking about building wealth, saving intentionally, and thinking long-term, your brain starts treating that as normal too. Quietly. Without effort on your part. The third move is to start one honest money conversation. Pick one person in your life you trust. Someone who might actually be open to it. And have one real conversation about money. Not to show off. Not to judge. Just to break the silence. Because the moment you have that conversation, something shifts. Money stops being the thing nobody talks about in your circle. And once it stops being taboo, the whole dynamic of your social environment starts to change. One conversation can do that. It sounds too simple. It is genuinely that powerful. Here is something I want to leave you with because most videos on this topic skip it completely. The same way a struggling social circle can pull you down financially, an intentional social circle can pull you up faster than almost anything else in your life. The people who build real wealth are almost never doing it alone. They are surrounded by people who normalize saving, who normalize investing, who normalize talking about money openly and without shame. They did not find those people by accident. They made intentional choices about who they spent time with, and over years, those choices compounded just like money compounds. Your social circle is either one of the most expensive things in your life right now or one of the most valuable assets you have. There is almost no in between. And the beautiful thing is that unlike your salary, unlike the economy, unlike interest rates, this is something you actually have control over starting today. Not by cutting people off. By adding the right ones in. The 5 people you thought of at the beginning of this video. Think about them again now. Are they pulling your financial future up? Or are they quietly, without meaning any harm, holding it exactly in place? You do not have to answer that out loud. But you know the answer. And knowing it changes everything. Because now it is not something that is just happening to you. It is something you can do something about. Start with one conversation. Add one voice. Spend a little more time with one person who is where you want to be. That is it. That is the whole move. And if you want to understand why most people never even start building wealth in the first place, the video right here breaks down the exact psychological and financial traps that keep ordinary hardworking Americans stuck. Watch that next. Everything connects.